Hello everybody, welcome back to the SCSL. We're getting ready for the round of 32 Group B, Mini, Calm, Action, and Tyson today. Should be a really fun group of all Protoss and Zerg. No Terrans for you Terran fans out there, but lots of PvZ for us.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I do love this matchup a lot. I also got a little bit of a soft spot for Calm. He's a very smart player that doesn't usually get much chance to shine. Hopefully he can make that happen here. Also like Action, Tyson, and Mini. All of these guys are going to be a fun watch.
A lot of fan favorites here. Calm, really big streamer in Korea. Mini, of course, he has been around for a while. He's an ASL champion, has a very distinct play style. Very interesting guy to watch. Action. This guy's been around forever as well. One of my favorite players. A nice late game Zerg player. Had one of the greatest ZVZs ever in the ASL. Going super long. I doubt we'll get another one of those today. It's kind of a 1 in a million, that game with Action in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you don't usually see Ultralisks in Zerg versus Zerg, but turns out they are very good at under Dark Swarm against Lurkers, so there are some niche situations you can pretty much make every single unit under the sun and utilize those.
That's right. But we're going to start off here with a couple of PvZs. We've got a best of one with Mini versus Calm, then we're going to go to Action versus Tyson. And we're going to go into the winners match for the best of 3, guys. So without wasting any more time, we're going to jump right in here. Game number 1, Mini versus Calm. Let's get it started. All right, Calm over here in the top right. We've got Mini top left. And I'm sure we're going to get a ZVZ at some point today. A PvP as well, probably.
Yeah.
One or the other. Maybe both. But we're going to start out with 2 PvZs, which is a lot of fun. That's nice. That's a nice way to start.
Right. I think that's one of the best ways of starting. Yeah, we'll have to see if both of the Protosses make it through to the winners or vice versa, and then we'll get the mirror matchup. So we'll have to see how it all pans out. We could even see, it going a bit asymmetrical and not, avoiding the mirror match until the very end. There might be at least one of them, though. Have to wait and see what transpires. Mini not doing anything too crazy here, but it's going to be pylon scouting, so it does tend to mean that he either wants a Nexus first or Forge first. And scouting Calm right away is a pretty big win for him. I mean, he's going to, block any hatchery that was going to come down early for Calm. That's going to be a nice little early game advantage for Mini to work with and be as annoying as possible with this scouting probe.
Calm appears to be... Oh, he's going to throw down that pool after seeing the probe, yeah.
Yeah.
No real choice there. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to build your hatchery over there at the third, and any pressure that comes out is going to be pretty annoying to deal with. So he just grabs the pool. This will allow Calm to grab a Nexus pretty quickly. Will he go Nexus before Forge? It's kind of risky. Getting the Forge down and then the Nexus quickly after, though, will put him in a pretty good spot. See, he's delayed quite a bit, but we'll throw down the Forge now. Gonna get the Nexus here shortly thereafter and be pretty darn safe against this forced pool.
Yeah, this is like a 12.5 Forge, almost 13. Early enough to not die to a 6-ling attempt from Calm here. It's pretty close positions. The rush distances are very short, so you do want to be extra safe and make sure this Forge is actually finished. Going to be pylon blocking this hatchery from going up as well is Mini. Calm trying to do some chase micro on that and shut that down. Gets a few spine connections, but not really finding the consistent shots required to get rid of this probe out of his base. So far the early harassment has been successful for Mini going forward. He's going to have to take this expansion at the natural third instead.
Not the best overall drone control there from Calm. Mini avoiding most of those spines and had quite a bit of money banked up as he was looking to take that hatchery. So plans have worked out quite well so far for Mini. 4 lings out here will be able to deny the pylon. That's just enough to burn the pylon down fast enough so that it won't outbuild you. It won't just keep building if you try to throw that down. So you can either try to block with the pilot or with the probe, or not at all, and he chooses not at all. Calm gets that natural down. It's going to be a little awkward here for him with the hatchery down at the 3rd, but he should be fine.
Yeah, he should be fine. This is definitely a little bit of a mini edge in the early game, though. The harassment has been successful overall, and he's gotten away with just a singular cannon here. Wasn't the fastest of gateways. I think he went next cannon, Nexus, then gateway. It's not terrible. Like, this is pretty optimal for Mini. It's one of the most efficient ways of opening up while not being, too risky here. Sometimes Protoss players are really greedy and skip making that cannon, but with the fast Overlord scout from Calm, you really have to make that cannon early on, or he could pull the trigger and just bust you.
For sure. Calm not throwing down that gas for a long time. Look at how late this gas is here.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see a 4-hatch Hydra. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. 4th hatch in the main base. Can he actually deny the scout from getting in here from Mini and spotting it? That would be optimal.
He's actually doing 5-hatch before gas, which is not that common these days. Like, usually you would go 4-hatch before gas so that you've got a slightly faster Hydra den, and your first 2 Hydras can stop the Corsair harass from killing too many Overlords and scouting everything for free. But as it stands, it looks like Calm is really wanting to build a massive economy. Probably see another hatchery being thrown down soon by him. Really surprised we haven't seen the gas yet. He's just pumping non-stop drones. Zealot making its way to the 3rd base now. Gonna have to be pulling his drones and trying to make sure he doesn't lose a single one of those. It's not really a good idea to be pumping non-stop drones if you start losing them. Does manage to tuck that Zealot behind the mirrors for a bit more of an efficient 2-on-1 trades, and that's so far going Mini's way.
Is Mini going to be able to get in here with the 2nd Zealot and actually get confirmation onto what's going on? Nope, 4 Lings here. Going to meet him in the natural and start to block things out. He's seen the extra hatchery there at the natural, but that's not telling him a whole lot. He hasn't seen that extra hatch in the main just yet. He's going to make a run for it. Can he actually get up here and see how late this all is? Yeah, he is going to get in there. He sees the extra hatchery. Now he knows what's going on and can start to react.
Yeah, with how far that creep has spread, he knows roughly how long that hatchery's been alive for as well, so he can start to dial in, okay, this was a 5-hatch before gas, and that will maybe enable him to be very aggressive. There's no Stargate, by the way. This is a fast Citadel build, so we'll have all that. He doesn't actually get the drone. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, somehow Calm is going to have to make a read on this, see that there's no Corsair coming in a few moments here, and start throwing down Sunkens, because there's going to be a lot of pressure coming out from Mini in a few moments.
Well, with the way that Calm has built his economy, he's going to have so much larva.
Yeah.
Really, really early on. He can definitely make a very big army and can pump out a lot of drones. So he's going to have a reasonable economy here with lots of larva. Can he hold off this aggression from Mini that's going to be coming here very soon? If that +1 finishes up with the Zealot speed, it's going to be really hard to hold against just pure Zealot. But we may see a Hydralisk Den get thrown down here shortly. He's spending his gas somewhere. I'm just not sure exactly where it's going just yet.
Right. Well, he did build a lair recently, and now he's going to be getting all of his upgrades, like Hydra speed, and maybe even a plus ground attack for his Hydras as well. Wanting to try and make sure he doesn't fall behind the curve on the tech too much with how late his gas has been. At the moment, though, just needs to make non-stop Zerglings to make sure he doesn't just straight up die. See how fast this legs has kicked in for the Zealots? They've already got their speed. There's no +1 attack, though, so with Zerglings, you can buffer against this and just, hold the line. So far, so good for Calm. Has got a Sunken on the way. Just needs 1 Sunken at each base to be a little bit extra safe against this kind of early pressure. And then he can start to get the speed Hydras out to micro against this. But for the time being, there is a little bit of a window for Mini to exploit and get on top of this Sunken before it's finished, as well as killing any Hydras popping out of these eggs. One Zealot splitting off into the main base while another hits the drones in the natural. A lot of good task switching ability from Mini here to put as maximum damage onto Calm as possible, while Calm is just scrambling, trying to get everything sorted out.
Looks like Calm will stabilize here. He's got enough Hydras popping from all these hatcheries that it seems like he's going to be able to hold the line. A 3rd base starts for Mini. I mean, he's going to be able to keep pressure on for a little bit longer, but isn't he going to get overwhelmed here soon? 35 workers. Oh, there's a DT making its way into the natural. He's got to target that down. That DT is so important. Yeah. Oh, the DT. Oh, looks like it's just going to barely run away here with 1 kill. Avoiding disaster there. This is what I was thinking was going to happen. A lot of pressure from Mini. And it seems scary to me as a Zerg player trying to go for, you know, such a low tech build against a player like Mini, who's definitely going to abuse you with plays like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mini's like known for doing these kind of optimized, very aggressive early tech plays, and it has done a pretty good job of putting a dent into Calm's game plan. He's only on 38, going up to now 42 drones. Mini, inversely, has his third base pretty much online. High Templar over there with some cannons already. He's making a Dark Archon for a Maelstrom combo just in case there's any kind of Muta transition, to try and rely on Muta Hydra to get the job done by sniping the High Templars. You also can still utilize that Maelstrom ability and locking down some Hydras for a Wombo combo utilizing the Psionic Storm. So a lot of tools available for Mini to go up against Calm in this next phase of the game. But so far it's not too bad for Calm. He is starting to drone up now and get everything saturated properly.
Mini correctly assuming that Calm's Overlord speed was going to be quite late, so just having DTs out on the map and no Overlords
right
to quickly move across here and punish this third means he's going to be completely safe. We've got 6 hatch production just coming online now with 45 workers. He's definitely going to be able to hit that hard. Mini, does he have the defenses in place now to hold on to that third base? Here comes that test. Mini is really starting to build up a lot of money here. You can see he's spending a big chunk of those resources now, pumping out a whole lot of Hydras, trying to get a drone down towards that bottom right. Looks like the Zealots are going to catch on to that. Got to take it out. Hydras blocking just in time to keep that drone alive. Just 4 Zealots here. Won't be able to take on all of these Hydras, so he will be able to screen those away and possibly get a base going online in that bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone all the way up to like 8 or so Templars, so he's got enough to split off a few to defend his third, as well as having plenty in the natural. Hasn't actually got a lot of ground infantry for the time being. He's just been spending most of his money on additional gateways, and now starting to churn out the right amount of units to go on the aggressive yet again. Calm is desperate to get a 4th base going because he knows there's nothing he can really do about this 3rd base of Mini, but that drone just got sniped in the bottom right, which is insane. It's going to take such a long time to get another drone back down there to make that base a reality. So far, Mini's like playing an almost flawless game of keep away with Calm, but Calm still can come back from this. Like, he's got a pretty powerful economy. He just needs to get a little bit of wind in his sails. He's got these Mutalisks now. Maybe he can get some snipes on these High Templars. If he can avoid the Dark Archon, it's going to be great for him, but just one Maelstrom will spell disaster if he's not careful.
I feel like Mini is kind of playing him like a fiddle here. He's directed exactly the response that he wanted. Calm playing into his hands, building all of these mutas. He's ready to dive in. He hasn't seen the Dark Archon yet. Here it comes. This is going to be a huge Maelstrom Xun. Oh my god. Absolutely enormous Maelstrom here.
Yeah, really good storm placement as well to avoid damage on his own units, just using the very corner of it. Now we're trying to get tempo play from Calm, trying to push in and seeing what he can get done, but there's just too many High Templars waiting in reserve at both locations. There's no hope for Calm of breaking through there. He's in a world of hurt. 60 supply down and 4th base, more of an afterthought at this point. Mini's going to be feeling great about this position.
That's minus 11 lurkers. There are 11 lurkers that can't be made because of the 11 mutas that went down. Plus, he would have had some extra minerals left over.
Right.
I mean, he's still got the Hydras here, but yeah, he does have these Hydras still, but he just doesn't have any tech to roll along with this. Pure Hydralisk is not going to beat the army that Mini has put together.
No.
It's a lot of Dragoons, a lot of Templar with Storm. This big round of drones just came out, and Mini is on the warpath. He's going to push across, catch these drones as they're heading down towards bottom left. I'm going to come in from a wide angle, but storms are going to rain down as soon as he starts this engagement. I don't know if this army could actually win even without a lot of storm here. Just the Maelstrom alone might be enough, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, even with just a few well-placed storms, it's going to be a nightmare for Khan. He's doing a pretty good job of sandwiching the army from both sides. Without perfect storm dodging, it's not going to work out. He has to tap out. GG is called. A very quick, convincing 1-0 lead from Mini. Going to be just going straight through to that winner's match.
He does secure that winner's match placement. Not a huge surprise, Mini. A pretty common contender for the round of 8 in the ASL, as an ASL title in his past as well. We're going to be jumping into our next game shortly here, guys. Action versus Tyson is a really interesting matchup. Tyson has been surprising us a lot lately, both with his ability to take out strong players and also his ability to throw games. So we'll see which one we get today.
Well, this is an online game, so I'm hoping he can play his A game and not get too stressed out. I mean, offline is definitely a totally different animal, so we'll probably see a good game from these guys nonetheless.
I really hope so, yeah. He does seem to perform a lot better online than in person. Here we go, guys. Match number 2. We've got Action spawning down here in the right-hand corner. And over in the bottom left, it is Tyson.
So what do you think? Do you think Tyson can go toe-to-toe with Action, or do you think this is going to be Action's game here? I mean, my money probably will be on Action. I think that he is definitely the more complete player, but hasn't really been playing his best as of late.
No, I agree. I think that he's left something to be desired. He's had moments of brilliance. And there's been times when I thought he would go all the way, get his own seat in the round of 4. But he's really been struggling to make that happen. I think a lot of that comes down to nerves, potentially. In the ASL online, he seems to be kind of a different beast. Still does have moments of weakness, though. Tyson, not sure where this guy is at. He made his way through JYJ. That's a different matchup. You know, PVT is a totally different beast. I'm curious to see what his PVZ looks like today.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, he definitely will have a punching chance in this matchup, nonetheless. Going to be hiding his probe scout to try and obfuscate the exact timing and positioning here. It's harder for Action to know exactly where this probe came from if he doesn't go straight in. And obviously obfuscates the fact that this was a pylon scout just a little bit too. Going to be doing some harassment with this probe, but the main thing is, can he delay this hatchery from going up in the natural? Action really wants to put some damage onto that probe if he can. But so far, Tyson doing a good job of playing keep away. Action's trying to create distance by making it run away so that he can then get the hatchery.
Can he actually get it? He will. Nicely done. Action no longer needs to build a bunch of lings here. He can just build a bare minimum 2. 1 set of lings will be okay. Getting a forge into that nexus. Taking a little bit of a risk here, but it seems like he should be able to start his cannon in time.
Right. Yeah, as long as the cannon is started by the time the lings are running down the ramp, you're usually okay, unless it's crazy rush distances that don't take long at all to get there. And in most of the maps we have today, that's not going to be the case. So everything should be okay from now on for Tyson. He'll probably get away with maybe even slowing down this hatchery at the 3rd would be great. If he can block that even just for a tiny amount of time. There's only 2 lings as well, so if he really wanted to, he could build a pylon, but he doesn't necessarily need to do that. Just a little bit of a block and slow down is more than enough. Doesn't actually block it though. So far so good for Action. Hasn't been slowed down at all in this early phase.
He's got his gas on time. He's not going to be playing that calm build we saw last game. That was a pretty unique, interesting build that we saw at a calm. Got completely shut down there when the mutas got maelstromed, but he had some pretty good momentum on his side. Now, Action is playing a much more standard style. Most likely, we are going to see a Spire coming out here. A layer started in just a moment, followed up by that Spire. It's just a standard way to play, and Action is fantastic as long as he gets to play his late game.
Yeah, we didn't see whether or not that was speed or layer. We'll have to get a quick look at. Okay, it was layer in the natural to try and obfuscate whether or not that was speed first. Can be a little bit of a mind game you can do to the Protoss. They don't quite know what tech you got in what order. Does make a little bit of questionable decisions for the Protoss to worry about later on about the exact timings of the Zerg. It might not come into too much of a factor though. It would be nice if he could clear out this probe scout so we can not get confirmation of that layer in the natural. But he should just barely be able to squeeze past these lings and check that if he wanted to. It looks like he's more concerned about making sure there's no den or anything being thrown down in the main.
Ooh, a bunch of drones just popped out. Action, a little bit of greed here. How many lings are coming? Okay, one I just saw was hatched. And so with 4 lings, you should be able to block this. Lets it slip by. Might behind these mineral patches. Looks like it will. And could get a little bit of a nice trade here. It's okay, yeah. You should be able to clear this up. And try to run by into the main. Pretty good control overall from Action. I think he's going to block that on the ramp. No, it does slip up here in the main. And so the next Zealot might actually deal a little damage here in the natural.
Right, yeah, that's exactly right. He has got speed on these Zerglings, so he can quickly duck back into the natural expansion. It does pull away the weakened drones that are being targeted and punched by this Zealot. So far, so good for Action, avoiding critical disaster by losing any of his workers. Tyson struggling to find some economic damage with his early investment of these Zealots, but they are doing scouting information as well and confirming that there was, in fact, a layer there at the natural expansion. But losing those 2 Zealots more or less for free, Action's got to be feeling great about his spot.
Pretty basic hold here from Action, and we will get into a nice straight up mid-game position. This is exactly what he wants, to be able to just slide through into the mid-game and eventually into the late game without too much interruption. He can occasionally go for some very aggressive plays. He's one of the best aggressive macro Zergs that we have, but doesn't need to necessarily against a player the caliber of Tyson. If he can just play his normal game and just, get into late, overwhelm you with a bunch of units and not throw or, reveal any of his aggressive builds, I think he's happy to do that.
Yeah. I mean, this Corsair is going to catch a couple of these Overlords, but he hasn't got enough time to kill them. Like, the Scourge are already out. He has to already run with these, and if Action's really good, he can intercept the Corsair on its escape vector, but with how low the vision range is on Scourge, it's so hard to pull off. As long as the Protoss player is paying attention to his Corsair, you can always avoid those Scourge. So instead, he's going for a scout off in the main base to try and catch the second Corsair, and he gets it. That's a big pickup there for Action. That's going to give him a lot of tempo and control over the game state, and force a bit of an overreaction out of Tyson as he desperately tries to scrounge together enough Corsairs to be safe against any possible Ogre Zerg that's coming out from Action. And Action does have all 3 gases taken. He gets a run by as well. I don't even know how that occurred, how he wasn't blocking his wall in properly, but with those 4 Zerglings getting in, he's gonna, there is actually a cannon in the main base, so he's actually pretty much okay, but he can start to pick off some of these buildings on the periphery and force a response from Tyson.
Oh wow! Can he actually hit the? Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna go and attack.
He can if he wants to.
Templar Archives. There's a pretty nice building to start hitting. You actually you have to respond to that. There's no 2 ways about it. Can't allow that building to go down. Lots of Hydras here in the natural. Action has enough mass here to definitely push away these Zealots. The microbility here, or the setup here over at center right, not the best. There is a lot of space here for the Zealots to get in and get some good surface area. Also, we haven't seen a 6 hatch just yet, so what are we actually looking at right now? Is Action going to build a whole bunch of mutas off of this, or? Yeah, because 5 hatch Hydra doesn't really make sense, and 3 gases are going. Ooh, Yeah, these Zealots get right in here, and they're going to do some damage for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was chasing that DT across the entire map, and that left him exposed to this natural third. Now has to evacuate. He hasn't lost too many drones thus far. If he can cut off the retreat of the Zealots, that's some good compensation. Beautiful body blocking there from Action to stop these Zealots from getting out of dodge. We'll be now cleaning those up. That's a really nice pickup from Action, and he barely lost any drones during all of that. So done a great job of managing that crisis and maximizing his own production. Meanwhile, look at that, almost the same amount of drones as probes right now. He's in a great position.
I saw the gas disappear. Not sure exactly what that was. I think we must be seeing some Hydras, or excuse me, Mutas being made. Muta's in production for Action, unless he's going for a whole bunch of lurkers right now. I just haven't seen it. The 3 gas has been online for quite some time. There's that 6 hatchery now finally getting started. And about 500 gas in the tank. Still no mutas. I'm a little bit confused. I thought we saw more gas disappear there, but it must have been all into Hydras.
Yeah, and some upgrades as well.
Yeah, possibly lurker upgrade on the way here. Maybe that's what took up all that gas.
Yeah, probably. Maybe taking a very quick fourth up in the top right natural third. That makes sense. It's a pretty good position to expand vertically like this as Action and cut the map in half that way. Not really much Tyson can do about it, it has to be said. He's got his Zealot Templar out, but losing those Zealots for free, more or less, at that natural third means there's a lot less punching power available for Tyson to come in here and do something. So Action can kind of just sit back and macro and not really worry about the game state. If the Preuss isn't taking a third base, there's nothing really Action needs to do.
There's those lurkers now. Action. He will get into a longer game here with this style of play. Very hard to bust him open. When he's in a good position like this, he'll be able to get that 4th gas online and switch things up into a hive play. Yeah. Lurkers now moving across the map. He's actually going to get out here and do a little bit of a small containment. I don't think this is going to be for a real hard contain. Maybe just wants to trade off some units at the front, thinking that there might not be observers yet. Make sure he doesn't take a third base too easily.
He's actually evacuating the contain already. He knows there's some Zealots out on the map, so he's more worried about the active threat of these. He has got units in position to deal with that, but he just wants to be absolutely sure there's 0 chance of losing this hatchery in the top right. Like, he can't allow any damage to occur. He's got even Hydras waiting in the natural expansion for this shuttle as well. Action is just dotting I's and crossing T's right now. Shuttle's still going to be trying to get in for a storm drop regardless, though. Pretty good storm on that mineral line. They have only 40 HP unlike SCVs, so you can't really evacuate and, get out of dodge with low HP when they storm that quickly. Unless you preemptively run the drones, you're pretty much going to take a lot of damage like that. So that's a pretty big win for Tyson. He's done some damage now to Calm. Calm, though, catching these Zealots out on the map yet again. Oh, sorry, Action catching these units out on the map yet again. It's kind of crazy how many Zealots he's killed for free.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Zealot kills and also a lot of Corsair kills. Look at all the mutas that just popped out. Dude, those Corsairs dying, trying to kill Overlords here in the natural. Big mistake. Action's going to take advantage. Coming out here with those mutas soon and start to snipe these Templar. He has a massive force of Hydras behind this as well. I think we're going to see a giant flank as soon as all those Templar are gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually right now just camping the third base of Tyson to make sure there's no way of an expansion behind this. Now he's pouncing on top of these high Templars with his mutas without preemptive storms to deny that. He will be able to clear up most of these Templars, so only 1 Templar surviving. This is kind of brutal. It's got enough energy to storm still. But, I mean, I don't think there's enough meat in this army. It's going to get surrounded, like you said, eventually. There are some reinforcements coming out to rejoin, but not in time. He will get the sandwich on these Dragoons and clean up on aisle 5 just before the reinforcements can come online and get over here.
Yeah, those reinforcements are being held up. 1 lurker egg. Nice play there by Action.
It's like a little fastest trick. You do that fastest sometimes where you just most people are on attack move non-stop and you just make a single egg to block out the AI.
Pretty good moves by Action. Tyson looking a little off in that game. Definitely not at the caliber of play we hope that he can achieve. Action getting the better of him here and taking us to a Mini versus Action winners match. That's actually, I think, the best possible outcome here. These two players have been at each other's throats, longtime rivals, and it's fun to see them go on to a best of 3 in Group B winners match. Whoever makes it through right here, right now, is going to be securing their spot in the next round.
Yeah.
The loser will have to take on either Calm or Tyson, the winner of the losers match. So guys, let's get into this. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Group B winners. Let's get it going. Here he is, Action, spawning over in top right. We got Mini, bottom left. Cross map situation.
Yeah.
I love watching Mini play, man. This guy's so interesting. Every time I tune into one of his games, there's always some funky stuff going on.
He's definitely the guy you want to study if you want to pick up on some ways of min-maxing and optimizing your builds. He does know how to cut corners with the best of them. If you want to learn some straight-up play, say someone like Best is probably good to study for fundamentals, but in terms of just squeezing out as much juice out of the orange as you can as Protoss, Mini's one of the best guys to study.
Yeah, and if you want some cheeky ladder builds, maybe you're tired of playing normal, go and copy some of those. Well, they might not work for you like it works for Mini, but maybe you get a couple wins and have some fun while you're at it. Mini's such an interesting character. I like to call him the Wolverine Protoss because he's got those giant long nails. Looks like he can claw your face off, but
yeah, he's probably good at back scratches.
Yeah, he's probably a great back scratcher. That's for sure. You probably can get him to like peel stickers off of your laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
With those special skills.
Yeah, it's going to be a gateway scout from Mini here, going for a gateway first. It's long rush distances, though, to get up to Action in the top right. We're talking like 38 seconds ramp to ramp, the longest rush distance we have in StarCraft right now. Kind of crazy stuff. So I don't think this gateway first is going to be super successful, but you can still use it to tech up quickly and have a stronger zealot count later on in the game. It's not like the first zealot has to do damage or anything.
Yeah, this is very long rush distance to be going gateway first. Mini unlikely to get a lot of damage here, considering how well Action shut down the play of Tyson, and now we're so much farther. Action should be able to hold on to this, but Mini is a different beast. He's a wild creature that gets in there with a lot of these early game plays. Now, this gas is super, super early. This is like some sort of 2-hatch layer build that we're seeing right now. And Action, he doesn't need to throw this hatchery down right now. He's going to try for it, but Mini's actually going to come up and block this. I think we'll just see Action move and take the hatchery elsewhere, but he doesn't even have the money for it right now. He's building a layer.
Yeah. And the Zealot's already up here to slow this down, so he's done a great job of being annoying with this, but yeah, I think this wasn't Action's plan anyway. Like, I don't think Action wanted that hatchery. He looks like he's just got a very fast ling speed, and he's going to be putting on some pressure right off the get-go. I think every single lava might be going into Zerglings right now. I think he's either made a mistake with how his Zerglings are positioned, or he wants to hide them for a few seconds here. He's making it look like he wants to take this expansion at all costs, but he doesn't. He's been pumping out a lot of Zerglings, and he wants to get a surround on these Zealots before he can get a third Zealot over here, and before they can get back to the safety of their natural expansion. It's a little bit of a mind game from Action, trying to metagame Mini, getting a bit of a third base as more of an afterthought here, and going for an earlier investment in these Zerglings to try and get a good surround on those, but hasn't been able to be successful in doing so. Instead, is going to be just running by those two Zealots and probe straight to the natural of Mini, who hasn't yet started a cannon, so you might be able to put some pressure on this gateway.
I think Zealots are going to head in towards the main. Maybe that's the probe, actually. Other Zealots are hitting that third base. He's going to start to deal some damage to this gateway. The cannon is quite late. He cancels the third, just making a ton of lings behind this. He's going to dive on top of one of those zealots. This gateway is getting extremely low. Out come the zealots to try and fight this. That zealot not able to do anything. It's just bouncing on top of these probes. It gets taken down. The gateway is so low. Is he actually going to get it? He does. He does, and he gets through as well. Going to be able to run up into this main base, cause some more confusion here for Mini. More points of vulnerability as more lings pop out. Tons more lings are on the way here. Mini really needs to rebuild that gateway so that he can shore up this defense and not just lose. 4 lings now in the main. He's going to start to kill a lot of probes, and Mini still hasn't showed that. Okay, he does build the gateway now, I think. He's got to be very careful coming up here.
Yeah, he's lost out on DPS on this Nexus, so we can't kill the Nexus before the cannon finishes anymore, which is a good start for Mini, but he is still getting probe kills. Usually you want to bait the probes off the line by targeting the Nexus, but he only did that for a little bit. Now he actually has to run into the mineral line because he knows Mini won't drill around the Nexus anymore. He's done a pretty good job at mining time and killing off a few of these probes, but what he really wants is to keep these Zerglings alive so we can wrap around this cannon from behind. He's trying to bait the Zealots into cleaning up these Zerglings, so Mini's not paying attention at the front. Oh no, this is going to be crazy. There's nothing blocking here, Saiyan. He's going to be clearing up this cannon, and there's no more additional Zealot production. I think Action might be able to do this.
I think he's done it. I think he's done it. I don't know what Mini was thinking. Dude, Mini...
The drill's good.
Oh, the drill is really, really good. A lot of these lings start to go down, and so many of them are low on that HP. 2 are on the other side of the wall. 3, actually. And so he can still make this work, but it's a little bit harder now. I just don't know what Mini was thinking, man. There was a bunch of lings over there that went and killed that zealot at the 3rd base, and then he didn't react. He just left or let the zealots walk away from the wall. Really kind of confusing play there, especially with the cannon already up in the main. Why would he do that?
Right, it's a little bit confusing. I think he just wasn't paying attention in the main to see how many additional Zerglings was made and just kind of lost track of the game state a little bit. But honestly, like, Action kind of botched it. Like, he stayed in the path of the drilling probes, which kind of gave a lifeline to Mini to stabilize. Like, all he had to do was just avoid any path that the probes could drill and keep playing run around and then getting us around on those probes and Zealot, and he would have done a lot better job of trading and killing off these workers. As it stands, though, Mini has kind of survived, and with such a delayed 3rd base from Action, the game state's not bad at all for Mini. He will go forward into a mid game.
Yeah, he did throw this one a little bit for sure. All those lings and only 1 zealot. And how many probes did he actually get in that fight? Not many. The probe control too strong. Mini may still get out of this unscathed. Which, I mean, he really should have lost that game, truly. Walking away from the natural with that many lings out on the field and ling speed, crazy decision-making there from Mini, and not in the good way. We've got Action here trying to make a go of it after botching that attack. Some more zealots coming. He could try to run by again, but with 2 cannons done, it's not going to bode well for him. Diving on top of these zealots, though, that's going to go pretty well. Killing off these zealots early is going to buy him a lot of time and space to get into a macro game.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't catch enough of those Zealots. I would have loved to see him, like, maybe get a good surround on 2 of those Zealots to make this really worth it. He's invested a lot of lava into these Zerglings. I hope he's not going to try and bust this, because there's just no way and hope in hell he can make it through that natural expansion. Has got Mutalisks popping out, though. With only 1 cannon and with another one going up in the main base, there is a window for him to maybe come in here and punish this. Also might want to make a pair of Scourge to help take out one of these Corsairs, or at the very least zone them out so that the Mutas can go to town on the cannons. The natural expansion is completely exposed, so just 1 good connection with this Corsair, and then suddenly all these workers in the natural are dead. We'll have to get all of these mutas onto the cannon in the main base as quickly as possible if there's any hope of breaking this, but it looks like we're going to have 2 cannons and 1 Corsair in the main base and a pair of Scourge coming, so there's just barely enough mutas to make this work. He will kill the first cannon very quickly, the second one will go down as well. This is going to be working out very well for Action. He actually still will be able to close out this game, it seems. I don't know if Mini can stabilize this.
Yeah, this is really hard to save now. Mini is in a desperate struggle, desperate situation. So many probes have just gone down. He's going to try and counterattack with the Zealots. but I think there's enough lings to actually shut this down. A couple of mutas are going to come out here too to just kind of help out. And as long as he keeps the pressure on, and he will get one of these Corsairs, he can't really fight this. That's way too many mutas, and with the links, or with the Corsair support, Scourge support, excuse me, I'm falling over myself here as Mini starts to fall apart. Drone drill on the ramp is actually going to keep these Zealots in range of the sunken colony. Great play there by Action to shut this down. The counterattack has failed. And this Stargate is going down. That was the last real hope of Mini. Now just with one Archon, the only thing that can actually keep him alive for the time being, the mutas are just going to run rings around this thing while he picks off these Corsairs and continues to kill these continues to kill probes. There it is. GG. He taps out, and Action takes this first game. Almost the throw. He almost Tysoned it there.
Yeah, he almost did. Really, really nicely done, though. And you can see just how hopeless that Archon is against the mutas that are being controlled well. At the highest of levels, Archons are at point defense at best against Mutalisks that are being controlled at that level. He knows he needs to tap out, or else he will just look a little bit silly against Action, who will perfectly micro those mutas and gun that down for free.
We're going straight on into our next game, guys. Game number 2. Between Action and Mini. Let's get it started. An interesting first match between these two. Now here on Dominator, Action center right. Got Mini down here in the bottom left. I kind of like the build what Action did. You know, delaying the third hatchery and going for a very quick gas. But if Mini just backed up, realizing what was going on, the delay on that third hatchery would have been pretty devastating if he didn't get any damage in return.
Right, yeah. I mean, the plan did kind of work for Action. He just didn't execute that as cleanly as he should have. I even feel like he probably should have got that game under his belt just from the lings alone, getting in there like they did. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see players make, is they always send their lings or whatever in the path of drilling probes. As long as you avoid those pathing, you have to worry about it. But hold the phone, guys, because we're going to have center 9-9 gates from Mini in game number 2, wanting to reestablish dominance right away.
This is so Mini, guys. We've seen this so many times. Mini putting the center 9-9 gate. And it's becoming a trademark, guys. You need to scout the middle now. Mini, he's done this in an ASL finals. He'll do it in an SCL winners match. No problem at all. That's not even a little bit of pressure in comparison. So with this 11 hatch.
Well, saying, yeah, this is brutal. I mean, the one advantage to having the 11 hatch is that it's finished quicker, so you can start the creep colony sooner. But honestly, it's still not good. Like, there's a lot of potential that Mini can achieve with how slow the spawning pool is going to be for Action. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to this. He needs perfect control to have any hope of blocking this center 9-9 gate. He might be able to figure out that the probe timing was ever so slightly weird, but not really. Mini timed it so that it looks like a normal kind of delayed scout. Doesn't look too suspicious from his perspective.
Oh, and look at this. He's sending a drone over towards top center. He really wants to know what's going on here. He's not going to be able to see that center 9-9 gate, and so he won't have drones pulled to start that sunken colony immediately. That's what he needs, is to get that sunken colony underway as quickly as possible. Try to get the drones to delay the Zealot from attacking that and get as many lings out at the same time as he can. There's a pylon right next to this hatch. It's probably going to be for a shield battery, and once he takes over the high ground and has a shield battery with Zealots on the ramp, there's no way. You can't get out of there.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. He's going to get a pretty good drill on this Zealot, but not good enough. Does lose one of those drones already. So already would have been better off going for the overpull to optimize his build order, but now he's in a world of hurt. It's just one gateway production, it's two, and it's much more closer to you. He knows the bad news now, but he can't really do much about it.
Yeah, there it is. Double Zealot on the ramp to pull all the drones here to mess up the AI. Pretty good drone pull overall. Honestly, this is going a little bit better than I expected. Getting on top of these now, getting some very good connections with the Zealots, but these Zealots are really sustaining for a long time. The shield battery came online at the perfect moment. Another nice drill there. Target fire on these drones is really hurting Action's economy, and a lot of these Zealots are going to survive on minimum HP. Looks like still can make a few more lings here with 7 drones remaining, though. He's going to have a really hard time keeping up this production.
Yeah, it's going to be really rough for him. If he loses anything else, it's pretty much over. He can barely hang on with 7 drones if he micros perfectly, but any more losses is almost untenable for him to deal with. Even just the lost mining time right now is starting to stack up. He can't actually produce non-stop Zerglings off both hatcheries if 3 of the drones aren't mining. So he's lost another one now as well. He's going to really struggle to keep up with this. GG going to be called, and tying up this series is Mini in a very quick, convincing 99 gates.
Well, this is why Mini does it, man. This is why he's going to continue to do it in all of these different tournaments. It works. Sometimes it works. If players aren't going to check the middle every game against him, then there's always that possibility that he throws it out there. He's definitely well practiced with it.
To be honest with you, it's too late by the time you check middle. Like, either you've gone for a pool first or hatchery first by the time you're checking that middle. And if you are investing extra economy into drone scouting the middle, you're even like less likely to defend it, which is the crazy thing.
Right. Well, we're ready to jump into this potential, this last game of the winners match. Who will continue on? Who will get that round spot? Who will get that next round spot here? Mini spawning in the top left, Action down at the bottom left. He's going to be fuming a little bit after that first game. It never feels good to get beaten by a 9-9 gate.
No, it does feel a little bit cheap, it has to be said, but that's the nature of StarCraft, that's the nature of the beast. It's a very brutal, unforgiving game. And keeping your mind in check when that sort of thing happens is part of the strategy and the skill level involved. It's like in poker, where, you know, sometimes, you know, you just get unlucky. You got to not let that get you psychologically. And no matter what happens in terms of the swings of RNG, you got to still bring your A game every single time you come back to the table, so that you can play your absolute best and not get psyched out by these guys. And that's part of the skill of StarCraft, is that psychological fortitude.
Yeah, it's a big part of Broodwar that doesn't get a whole lot of attention. But the best players in the world, they're the best for a big reason. It's not just because of their overall macro control, although that does play a huge part of it. It's their ability to stay calm under pressure, to block out those noises, and to play a long series. We're only seeing a best of 3 here. Mini's still playing to the series, though, the way that he's opening up in each of these games, right?
Right.
Definitely a very skilled and accomplished player when it comes to long series in Broodwar.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most emotional players we have in StarCraft, so once you do get under his skin, usually it's him psyching himself out, then he does start to fall apart, but until that time, he plays exceedingly solid. And like we were saying about the psychological warfare style of the game, that's why we don't see Mini like taking more titles in ASL and doing better than he has been, is because eventually he does get psyched out, and once he's in that, you know, bad mental state, he can't get the focus required to take the games anymore. And that's why this game is so difficult. You need to be like someone like Light, who's just cool as a cucumber no matter what, and is like a perfect decision maker despite not having, you know, always the best mechanics.
Yeah, another great example, of course, is Soul Key. If you watch him, absolutely stone-faced when he plays. We're getting into this gateway now. Zealot coming across the map. Ooh, getting a couple of hits on that first drone, and the probe is going to block. Ooh. So close there. Good job by Action, at least keeping that alive for the time being. First Zealot going to come in here with that probe looking for a kill. Now, will Action be able to block this? Going to have a little bit of drone control as the Lings are popping out here to make sure he doesn't lose any of these. Ooh, getting a shot there with the probe and the Zealot. Only needs one more probe and one more Zealot shot, but looks like he will be forced behind these mineral patches. Pretty good hold so far by Action. He will get the surround as well. Beautiful surround.
Yeah, really nicely done by Action there. Going to be cleaning this up really efficiently. It was a hatchery first versus gateway first, so losing a single drone is bad. So really nicely done by him to quickly snag that Zealot kill, and he's finding this Zealot that's hiding in his base. Nice little idea from Mini to try and trick him, but as long as Action was paying attention to the mini-map, he would have seen that coming up the ramp. So yeah, we got another Zealot making its way to the third base now. If he loses that as well, that's crazy, but I think that one actually will survive. It's going to like temporarily hide there between the natural and the third, then run into the main as an afterthought, but there are 3 Zerglings just chilling.
I think Action saw that. Yeah, Action
I think so.
Gonna keep back these Lings, and these Lings over on Mini's side are going to try and get in here. Oh boy, they pop through just as the Zealot gets out. This is a huge swing for Mini, or excuse me, for Action. Mini is going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah. Potentially losing a bunch of probes here, and definitely being forced off the gas. Going to slow down his tech by a lot.
Yeah, you don't want to let your gas be slowed down at all as Mini here, especially if you can't get a scout into the main base of Action. You're really dependent on that Corsair identifying exactly what the follow-up plan is for Action. If you can't do that, he might feel forced to kind of just brute force his way with a fast Citadel or something instead, but then he's susceptible to a Mulus play, an Ogre's gamer style. So yeah, nothing is really going to line up well for Mini. He might even have to hedge his bets or roll the dice on what he exactly wants to do. There is a Zealot making its way into the third base to see how many drones are being produced there, to see if he can start to narrow down the range of play from Action. Is this going to be a fast Hydra Den for a 9-7-3, or will this be a fast 3-base Spire?
Really hard to tell at this point. Mini gleaning all the information he can, sending in more and more Zealots. It's kind of a tough decision for the Protoss player. Do you keep sending in Zealots and hope to get some information here, at least force out some Lings and maybe see Hydras popping? Or do you sit back at home and wait for that Corsair to eventually come out, then get the information, but could be too late? It's hard. It's really, really hard to decide.
Right. In this case, it is going to be probably the 3-base Spire, but Mini doesn't know that for sure. Like, Action could have made a few extra drones at the third and not so many at the natural to kind of hide the fact that he's going for 9-7-3. And Mini's a smart guy, so he knows that he can't rely on how many drones he's seen at this third base to guarantee exactly what the build order choice is from Action. So he's probably going to want to hedge his bets in case it's either one of those things. And he wants to keep sending these Zealots down here to this third base to make sure there's no Hydras popping out from these eggs, so he can kind of figure out, okay, this isn't going to be a fast Hydra bust. It's probably going to be that 3-base Spire, and I can optimize my defenses accordingly.
Yeah, it looks like he's figured out, for the most part, the information that he needed. Mini, his Corsair is going to be pretty late here. You can see that Stargate coming online now. The delay on the gas was inevitable. But it seems like those Lings have been cleaned up in that main base. Had to deal with some Zealots on his side of the map, and so Action ends up losing those. I think he threw in, for the most part there at the end, just trying to get a few extra probes as the cannon was coming online. He's done a great job of slowing down Mini's economy, and he's getting his own economy rolling right now. See, Spire is going to finish up before the Corsair is even out. That's crazy, Xun. So much slowdown from that initial Ling run by.
Yeah, it's really painful. And he has to make a couple of cannons now as well to stabilize. Like, he knows there's a chance that a few Scourge and Mutas just come and bowl him over if he doesn't make these cannons. So he's slowing himself down even more. That's the hard thing about StarCraft. It's like it's a compounding effect in terms of like both negative and positive. So if you can squeeze out drones for free, that's a big boon to your economy. But if you're slowed down in your tech, then you've got to make compensations and adjustments along the way, which slows you down even further. ever. And that's exactly what's transpiring here. And Action's going to be feeling pretty okay about this game state once he sees everything. He's not going to be much threat coming his way for quite some time, and he's going to have air control.
This air control is going to allow him to drone up heavily going into this mid game. He's already got quite a few hatcheries done. 5 have been prepared, and these mutas are going to get in, not for any sort of dive play, but just to try and get a couple of probes here and there. Maybe snipe a Corsair if it gets too close, as those 4 Scourge, and 5 mutas for that one-shot potential. Looks like Mini going to do a pretty decent job of holding back those Corsairs, dealing the damage, and getting out of the way. Definitely a caliber above Tyson in that regard.
Yeah, only 1 Scourge connection there, so not quite sniping the Corsair, but doing a pretty good job of sharking around and trying to find something. I mean, any damage is good. He can actually kill these gas probes in the main base, which is a really good pickup from him. And getting a snipe on these Corsairs, that's really good. One of those Corsairs, I think, is weakened, so he can snipe that. Really good target firing from Action to identify the weak Corsair there. He knew one of them was low, and he does manage to find it. Really good play from him. Overall, I think Mini has better task switching ability, but I do think I favor Action's decision-making long-term over Mini just a little bit. I think Action struggles a little bit with controlling his units on multiple fronts, but when he's allowed to go through his motions and set up his game plan, he's one of the most strongest, scariest Zergs.
Mini gonna finally come out here with some Zealots. Has that +1 done, but could get looped around behind and crushed against these Hydras, so he will be forced all the way back into the natural. This is again allowing Action so much space on the map. He knows that the Corsair number is not that high, and oh gosh, he's actually just pulling the trigger here, going right into this natural. Only 2 cannons were made, and so a lot of these Zealots are going to fall pretty quickly. The Lings have been thrown out here. All the Lings are gone, but there's no Zealots to try and hold the line. The probes are going to come up and try to do the job of the Zealots, but those are going to be targeted down very quickly. Cannon going to fall here. Another one does finish. 2 more, in fact, but those cannons die so fast, and even more is being brought to the fore here. Action is going to crush this natural.
Yeah, he needs a DT and to deny all of the Overlords from getting here to have any chance of holding this. The DT pops out, but there is Overlord speed, so we can shuffle over one of these Overlords from the side, get a target fire down on that DT, have some more Overlords waiting in reserve as well to kill the follow-up DTs. Mini's in pure desperation mode right now. I think the Action will be able to close this out. This is the massive migration of Overlords to help assist this. GG's going to be called, and Action is going to be picking up a very convincing win against Mini. That's impressive.
A very impressive final game there in the winners match. Action snags this group, gets out in first place. Mini goes down to the final match. Next up, guys, we're going to have our losers, Calm and Tyson, facing off in a best of 3. Whoever takes that best of 3 will be going up against Mini in the final round. That's not an enviable position.
No.
But both these guys are a little bit worried about that final match. Calm, especially after that first game went so horribly wrong.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see where this series pans out. I have no idea how Calm and Tyson stack up against one another. I do think I favor Calm overall. We'll have to see. I don't think Tyson's been playing super well in PvZ lately. Hopefully he can bring a strong game of it, but let's get right into it, guys. It's going to be the losers bracket. Tyson versus Calm. Map number 1, Radiant.
Okay, hopping right into this one. Calm spawning here in the top right. Tyson bottom right. That purple Protoss. Hopefully he can show us a great game. I think these guys are relatively evenly matched. I'm not, like you said, sure about how these two stack up. We haven't seen a lot of games between them.
Right.
But that's what the SCSL is all about, man. We get to see some things that we don't otherwise get to. Some of these other tournaments. We get to see more games than ever before. It's a golden age of Broodwar, guys, and this tournament is a big part of that.
Oh yeah, I think this has been popping in Korea lately. I think like, yeah, all the rage is about SCSL and, you know, the potential shenanigans that it can bring. We've even got 815 in this tournament, a very technical player named after a map 815 with the tiny little 1 Hydra wide ramps. You can't even get vultures up there, I think. Only Hydras could get down there. So made for some really interesting games. A very technical player. I would love to see some games from him soon in the coming group stages. But for now, we've got this losers bracket between Calm and Tyson. I really do feel like Calm is advantaged to win this, but as you say, we have no way of knowing where these players stack up against one another, so it's still pretty exciting to find out.
It's funny that we've got 2 really impressive macro Zergs in this group. Calm absolutely can take you on in the late game. Pretty much stand toe-to-toe with anyone if he manages to make it there. It's just making it there, which he often struggles with. And that's where Mini kind of excels in pulling apart those Zergs early. And so it's a match made in hell, Xun, or Calm at least.
Yeah, it is. It was at a 12 hatch 11 pull as well from him. So trying to optimize his economy more than his lava a little bit. And looks like a cannon rush is going to be the response here. And he has got no way of spotting this. I'm surprised. If you're going to go for a fast hatchery like this, you need a preemptive drone to block behind the minerals to not allow this to occur in the first place. And now he thinks that this isn't even happening because he thinks this is the scouting probe. He doesn't even know about the natural yet. He's got a drone that's moving out, but that's to scout. That's not to check behind his own minerals. So this cannon rush is going to go completely unscouted by Calm, at least for the time being. Oh no, Saiyan. I think Tyson's going to pick up a quick win here, potentially.
Oh no, Xun. I'm covering my face in...
Yeah.
This is pretty cringe, guys. This is really rough.
I mean, he's going to build up 2 sunken colonies to try and block this. I just don't think it's necessarily going to be quick enough. If he targets fires with these first 2 cannons correctly and manages exactly where the DPS goes, he's going to be feeling fine. Yeah, there's the target fire on the first sunken. Just needs to get down to 100 HP, and the probe can finish it off when it finally morphs, so they can go to town on the other one as well. This is, yeah, like you can see there, the probe just finishes that off with spawns at 1 HP. The creep colony has 400 HP, the sunken only has 300, so as soon as it morphs, you can just one-shot that with the probe. Really good target firing from Tyson, and a quick 1-0 lead to Tyson in this matchup, but that's a big mistake from Calm, not to dot his I's and cross his T's and make sure the hatchery first was safe.
Yeah, that's a huge error for sure. Giving away that first game for free. We're really going to see Calm go out here.
He's a generous guy.
Just jump right into our next one, I guess. Not much more to say about that one. Just a massive mistake from our Zerg. You definitely need to be a little bit more aware of the position of that first probe. Make sure you've got some vision over that natural. We're jumping into this game, guys. Our second in the losers match. We've got Tyson spawning up here in the top left. Calm center right. You hate to see it. You hate to see it go down like that, man. But if you're not going to scout properly, you're going to get punished.
I mean, this was a good split from Calm, so we got something to be happy about. He's done pretty good mineral optimization thus far. The only thing bad is that this drone didn't go to optimize the horizontal mining on the corner of his hatchery when he could have, but right now you're just prioritizing getting those cycles underway. As Zerg, it's very important that you don't miss you don't want to over-optimize the Zerg early game, because then you might miss the cycle of when you can make a drone. So sometimes it's better to mine a slightly suboptimal patch to make sure you can actually squeeze out that lava into a drone rather than waiting an extra second or 2 for the more optimized position.
It's looking pretty good here. Hopefully not phased by that first game and how it went. Gotta get that one out of your mind. Just chop that up to a big error. Still needs to win 2 games. He just can't afford any more mistakes.
Yeah. This position's pretty nice. I mean, I like 12 o'clock a little bit, sorry, 11 o'clock a little bit better than I do this position here at 3, but honestly, this is pretty good for your optimizations as getting this position. It's not too terrible at all. He is going for this hatchery first yet again. There's no cannon rush this time, but there's going to be a gateway first, so if he loses any of these workers to this early aggression, that's still going to be spelling disaster for him, and Probe Scout is not coming in yet. He's obfuscating the exact timing of this, because he sees the hatchery in the natural and doesn't want to show the Probe Scout just yet.
Probe should build a pylon here. I think Calm would freak out. Don't want to die twice. Just go into the corner and build a pylon, yeah. Yeah, there it is.
He's like, oh no.
And, yeah. I have to pull a lot of drones here to try and stop this.
Here it comes. It comes with 4 drones.
The Zealot's going to come in. Oh, he sees the Zealot, actually. He sees the Zealot. He should pull the drones back.
He's not, though.
Oh, he actually went for Forge. He went for Forge afterwards, right?
So
this is a really big commitment.
Yeah, it's a big commitment, but he still can get a cannon behind there. But nicely done from Calm. He needs to try and drill one of these drones back out from behind there, though. He doesn't want 2 stuck behind this pylon. Oh no, he's mined a mineral block now, which makes it a tiny bit harder to get the drone out, but he does manage to get it. But yeah, so far so good for Tyson here, I would say. It's still a pretty big sizable amount of damage. It's a pretty big commitment getting the fast forge after this gateway though, so if he doesn't do any damage with this Zealot, Calm is still in a pretty good position, but if he loses any of these drones, Tyson's going to be feeling great about his spot.
Looks like he's going to back up, chase that drone over towards the 3rd. One drone here trapped behind. Oh my gosh, this is a great mineral walk. Damn. Really did a lot of damage to that. Look, bringing it down to almost no HP before the Lings even engage. That'll help him to clean up the 2nd Zealot much easier and quicker. And so this is pretty much over. Tyson gonna just take a Nexus behind it. Never built a cannon, only built the one pylon, so it's not that bad, but still a little bit rough here for all of the commitment that's been made and no drone kills at all.
Right, I mean, there was a lot of lost mining time for Calm, so I think it's a bit more even than it seems, but it's still probably a little bit Calm favored, I think. Because I think losing the Zealots does work in Calm's favor. As long as he doesn't get a cancel on this hatchery, he's got enough Lings to stop this, but he got quite a few punches already. He might try and target this down, just try and get a good surround. If he does clear up these Zealots for free, he's going to be feeling fantastic about this. Does get a snipe on that probe and one of the Zealots, so yeah, definitely a Calm favorited game thus far.
Another Zealot makes its way into the natural. Great catch there on the ramp. This could actually get a kill. Get one, not quite. Very nice hold here from Calm.
Yeah.
Hanging on for now and shutting down these Zealots over and over again. He can now start to drone pretty heavily. Get that gas online. The slowdown to his build is going to be overcome here as time goes on. His position will be getting better and better with all these Lings now. There's just no way to push out as Tyson. He's just going to be locked into his base for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely, Saiyan. The one thing I don't like about this game is we can't see cameras of the players. I always like how Calm looks like he's a deer in headlights with his eyes bulging out of his head when he's playing, just so locked into what he's doing. It's a shame we can't see his face right now, but I'm happy we get to see where these players line up in some games we don't usually get to see played.
Maybe someday we'll get that. And we can hold out for hope.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
SCSL, going to the moon, boys, and maybe we can get some of those advantages that used to be available for other tournaments like the KSL, but kind of went away for a while. That would be a true golden age if we have multiple in-person events again. That would be pretty epic, Xun.
I mean, I'd just be happy with these games being live and having webcams. That'd be great for me. I'd be happy with that, at least.
Yeah, that'd be very cool as well, actually. Skipping over a Stargate here, going directly into Citadel. We get very aggressive on the ground with all the Zealots that he's lost. That seems like a tall order.
It does seem like a tall order, and he's got the same amount of workers right now as does Calm. This doesn't bode well for Tyson. I mean, he still probably feels like he's got a puncher's chance. This Overlord will die to this Dragoon just barely, so that's some compensation. not really supply blocking Calm, though. He smartly, quickly replaced that Overlord ahead of time to make sure he wouldn't be supply blocked and had plenty of space to keep growing here. I just don't know how Tyson's going to overcome this economic deficit. I mean, Calm is going to be firing on all cylinders in the next few minutes. I just don't know how he's going to keep up with that production.
Well, we haven't seen the tech just yet from Calm. Is he going to go for Hydras here quickly? Oh, the Zealot makes his way in. That was kind of chilling over on the left-hand side for quite some time. It's going to get a pretty reasonable economic slowdown on this third phase by forcing all the drones to pull away. A lot of lost mining time. Things will come down, though, with that speed. Clean that up in just a moment's time, but still a really reasonable little stab here from Tyson. I don't think this is going to bring him into a good spot, but maybe he can make something work here. Okay, couple Sunkens going down at the natural. He's going to have the Spire online here shortly. I guess he wants to make some mutas and try to hold back this play from Tyson. It's a really decent way to play when you know that your opponent has foregone the Stargate. Looks like a late Stargate's going to come up for Tyson, but as long as he prevents these Zealots from running by into the main, keeps them on top of these sunken colonies, and gets these mutas out here quickly, he should be okay.
Yeah, he should be. I mean, the lost mining time is nice. A worker is about an average of 50 minerals per minute, so stopping the mining for 10-20 seconds does put a bit of a dent into the economy. He's trying to come in here and target fire down one of these hatcheries, but only a single Dragoon to DPS this for free, it's not really going to work out too well for him. Eventually, he will clean up this Dragoon with some Mutalisks and be fine. He's going to have to pull the trigger on trying to target fire down some of these Sunkens, but now the drone drill can occur. He needs to target down some of these drones and not waste time shooting these Sunkens. He should be baiting the drones to drill by targeting the Sunkens and then killing the drones, but he thinks that he can get the job done and kill both of these Sunkens. I don't like this decision making from Tyson at all, and now he's targeting the macro hatchery. This is really poor decision making from Tyson overall, but he is going to be killing this hatchery, but it's the wrong target, and not killing the economy of Calm is really going to set him back. He's limited the production capabilities ever so slightly, but at what cost? Losing all those units now? Calm is going to be feeling great about his position even after losing that hatchery.
He knows that there's not a lot of anti-air here, and he can utilize the money. Oh, what? Ooh. Double Stargate behind this.
This is
what I was thinking is, with the lack of hatchery, he could easily just keep making Mutalisks and get some very larva-efficient units out to deal with any follow-up attacks while really droning up and getting into a fourth phase. But the double Stargate actually throws a wrench into things. See if Calm can hold on against this. The double Stargate play is going to come into effect now. That Sucking Colony being an absolute hero, hanging on behind all of these drones. Looks like it will stay alive for the time being. Some of these Hydras go down, but the Mutas are going to be able to clean up the rest of this.
He will finally kill that sunken colony, but I mean, it's like a sunken cost fallacy at this point, pun intended. It's kind of insane that he's lost this many units to clear out a single hatchery and a couple of sunkens, and not done a single dent into the economic prowess of Calm right now. Still, even on workers, he has to make this air superiority work. This is his last gambit. His game plan is to sandbag the Zerg, force him into making some units that aren't so optimal in dealing with the Corsair harassment, and try and take to the skies and overwhelm Calm this way. But I don't think it matters. I think Calm is still just going to, put the hammer down onto him and pressure this wall in. Despite that fact, you'll be able to clear out these Mutalisks with those massive amounts of neutron flares gunning them down. But eventually, he will have enough Hydras to overwhelm his position. There are some Zealots to buffer against this while the Corsairs go to town on those Mutalisks, but there are enough Hydras here to eventually clear up these Zealots and push him back into his wall.
Pushing him back into his wall, forcing so many cannons to be made, and that's the real problem. Yeah. He's going to have to make a ton of cannons here. It really bites into the economy, and if he doesn't make enough, Calm can just kill him. There is no way he's going to have Temporal Storm ready in time. It's 11 minutes in, but he has spent so much gas on these Corsairs. He's got DTs out. He went for that really fast Citadel as well to get Zealot speed and +1 and get that timing attack going. That didn't work out. Loses the DT as well, dude. Nothing is going right for Tyson here. It's really looking like a calm victory as he dives forward, jumping on top of everything. Going to be able to snipe down these DTs before the Corsairs can actually kill all the Overlords. Diving now on top of these cannons. There is one Templar. There's no way that it has Storm in time to actually save his life. GG is called, and Calm takes him out.
Yeah, this is brutal. Like, I don't think Tyson can handle Calm's ability. I think Calm is just slightly ahead of the macro and decision-making ability of Tyson. He just can't keep up with him in the ring. He's not a Rocky Balboa that can just, you know, keep taking the punches and eventually punch him out in the final rounds. He got worn down to a nub there and taken out in pretty convincing fashion.
One win on the side of Tyson, but now we see Calm bringing it back, proving that that's a bit of a glitch in the matrix, a lucky stroke of luck for Tyson in that first game. We're jumping into game number 3, guys. Here we go. Tyson spawning over here in the top right. Our orange Protoss player, and Calm yellow Zerg at bottom right. Putting out a great game for us there, game number 2. Really making it look hard for Tyson in this series.
Yeah, now we've got deja vu. I mean, we were talking about glitches in the Matrix. We might be having potentially another repeat of that. I hope Calm doesn't make any slip-ups. He's usually such a good player when he doesn't make those kind of early game judgment call errors. It's usually something he's like forgotten to do, and it like always manages to throw the game when he does those kind of little slip-ups. But when he is playing his best and able to get underway of his macro capabilities, he does seem like such a beast of a player. But I mean, StarCraft's a brutal game. If you can't play consistently, you're going to be taken out by some of these better guys.
He wants that shot. He wants another shot at Mini. It's going to be a tough run for him. Going up against a Mini for the second time. If he makes it through here, we'll have a PvP if Tyson manages to win this. Actually, no mirror matchups at all if Calm wins. That's pretty advantageous. That's nice, but
yeah,
we'll see if that comes to pass.
We haven't seen a ZVZ in ages, or at least I haven't.
Yeah, not in professional play, that's for sure.
Right, right. Yeah, kind of a little long time coming. Sulky's happy about that. He doesn't want to get any Zerg versus Zerg. It's probably like the one thing that could take him down in the ASL. He's done a great job of avoiding that with switching players and the group selection and what have you. Looks like we're not going to be having any ZVZs for some time until the very later stages of ASL, so can't even imagine what that's going to be like when we finally get to cast one of those. I'm looking forward to it when it does finally occur. A little bit of drone harassment coming online for Tyson here. Nothing too crazy. Gateway first as well behind this, but Calm got the first scout with the Overlord in the top right, so he knows everything and we'll be able to optimize against this.
We'll be able to drive this probe back, Tyson. Putting with the gateway first once again, but with that overpool, sending it across the map. It's going to put the pressure onto Tyson rather than the other way around, and we're going to have to see a probe get pulled into that onto that ramp, or unless on this map, can you block with just one zealot? I think you need a probe there as well, right?
I think you need a probe there as well, yeah. I mean, it's just a little bit of a skill check you can do now as Calm and the natural expansion. Try and, like, bully the 2 zealots while the other zealot is blocking the ramp with the first 6 slings. But it looks like Tyson does know. Oh, careful, Tyson. Don't let that zealot get picked off for free there, buddy. Yeah, there's a little bit of a skill check coming out from Calm, but it also doesn't look like Calm is super confident in punishing any errors from Tyson. I think Calm doesn't want to worry about task switching Ling control while he's macroing back at home, so he's very reluctant to try and test the waters here.
Well, now that he's got the third up and everything's going to smooth out a little bit here, maybe he can think about trying to run by. Let's see. Well, it looks like he's doing something back at home and takes a lot of damage on these Lings. Yeah, he really was busy back at home doing something here. and so completely misses out on running by and loses a Ling. Some damage there. More Lings popping out. Calm has enough to shut this down. I don't think that Tyson actually saw those Lings pop, though, and these may just get completely shut out.
Yeah, these first two Zealots need to be really careful and run back to the safety of these reinforcing Zealots. With 3, he can start to fight this and micro back for the 4th, though, so it's going to be able to trade out pretty good against Calm. I hope he's producing some additional Lings, because he could just straight up die here if he doesn't make at least 1 or 2 more pairs of Lings. Really good micro from Tyson. I mean, he's doing a great job of cleaning out all of these Zerglings, and he might be able to force an additional couple of pairs.
Yeah, some more Lings definitely need to pop out here for Calm. He might be fighting on the ramp, and that can be a very difficult trade to take. 2 hits on that drone. Can he get the drone? Oh! Looked like he might have been trying to go for that. Not quite able to pick it off, but as more Lings come out here, looks like he is going to be able to trap that Zealot. Nicely done. Will stabilize here in the natural. 1 more Zealot out on the map, but I think he'll probably be well aware of that, try to track it down. Calm doing an excellent job kind of hanging on here in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is playing his best when he doesn't have to worry about task switching. That's why he was so hesitant to do anything with his Lings early game. He just wants to sit back and macro up and make sure he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's. Don't lose a drone here, though. 1 more punch does get that drone connection. 2 punches on this other drone, not quite finding the kill on that, but any damage right now to the economy of Calm is a pretty sizable deal. Great decision making to send that drone off to the left rather than the right. Tyson always trying to slide his Zealot where the drone will be in the next phase rather than where it currently is a great way of playing games in general, trying to anticipate the movements of the unit to maximize connections. Does manage to slow down the economy prowess of Calm just a little here.
Dude, that Zealot must have been growing out his nails like Mini. The reach on that was ridiculous. Maybe that's why Mini grows his nails so long. He can punch a drone from an extra hex away. That was crazy. Losing 1 drone there. I'm not going to be feeling good about that one. He did a very good job defending up until that point, though. And he will have his tech coming online. So he has managed the task switching at least to a reasonable degree, to where he's not going to lose a lot of overlords due to just kind of missing out on his timings.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good for Calm despite taking some damage. He's almost even on workers. He's getting supply block just a little bit here. As long as he hides the remaining overlords, gets out a pair of Scourge to catch this, or at least bully it away, he's going to be feeling fine still. I really like Calm's position despite taking some economic damage. I don't think Tyson is nearly as optimized as he should be in this game, though he did go for a fairly early second gateway. He is doing a bit of a Mini-esque style, able to produce a lot more Zealots than usual in this early phase and put on a lot of pressure and probably forcing maybe even Mutalisks out of Calm here to deal with this. And there's no Sunken as well to buffer, so these Zealots probably will get some damage done.
Let's see if that +1 upgrade is done right as this engagement occurs. A Sunken Colony will be made in desperation here. Calm is bit of trouble going to pull the drones to try and surround this, but the Lings are falling relatively fast. It is starting to look like that +1 upgrade did finish. Here comes the Mutas now. Drones are going to be pulled into the main. Looks like he's going to block on this ramp, but starting to really lose the economy here. Tyson dealing so much damage. Oh my goodness. This second gateway actually absolutely crushing Calm, who is trying to min-max and optimize his overall economy and just getting the table flipped on him. There it is. GG is called. Tyson ends Calm's life in this tournament. He's gone, guys. Just like that.
That's crazy. He might be Calm, but he's not collected, Saiyan. He's going to be just knocked out with a big 1-2 combination from Tyson. Beautiful stuff. It was almost like seeing Mini Junior there or something, like he's Mini's protege and he's trying to study up on how to do it. He did a pretty good job of executing that build. I was liking Calm's position. quite a lot, but he just didn't have enough to slow down that advancement of that early pressure Zealot build. And he just kind of, unfortunately got caught off guard by it and thought he could just chug along with his normal macro and be fine.
I think he thought he killed enough Zealots that he was going to be okay. He did kill a lot of Zealots there. Thought he had a little bit more time. Generally with that build, you build a couple of sunken colonies though, just to kind of shore up the defense. Yeah. While the Mutalisks start popping out. Guys, we're going to jump right in to our final match of the night. A PvP here between Tyson and Mini. See how this goes. PvP, a very volatile matchup. I'm favoring Mini here, but yeah, it's a best of 3 now. Anything can happen. Let's jump right in. Mini spawning down here, bottom left. And of course, we've got Tyson over in that top left teal Protoss player. So we've got a nice little divergence in the colors. We can really tell these two apart. That's always important when it comes to PvP and any of these mirror matchups, but it's been a long time for me. We talked about it earlier. ZVZ, I haven't cast that for a long time. When's the last time you cast PvP?
PvP, I did last night with BSL. I did a 5-hour cast on BSL. That was insane. We also did some PvP in ASL, so we've had something to do. ZVZ is the only mirror matchup we haven't casted in a long time, Sam.
That's right. If you're casting BSL, there's going to be a lot of PvP. That's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of the best players in the world outside of Korea are Protoss players.
Makes sense.
That's the way she goes. Bonnet, the Waltz being two of the big names there in pretty much every BSL. Yeah. They're probably going to end up meeting each other and having a big series. And so whenever you're doing that tournament, but you're going to probably see a lot of PvP. If you're a fan of PvP, definitely check out BSL, guys. Check it out even if you're not. That's a great tournament.
Yeah, the group we had yesterday, that was Artosis, Doodle, Dragon, and who was the other guy? Oh, Oxo. Yeah, that was a fun group, actually.
Nice. Good to see Artosis still competing. That was a lot of fun to watch him play in Thailand at the BSL previously. I hope he's doing well. But we're into this PvP, guys. Nothing out of alignment here just yet. Both players on completely mirrored builds so far, but we're going to see a divergence here soon as both players start to throw down that tech.
Yeah, both players going for the 1-gate tech play here. Usually if you are confident in Protoss versus Protoss, you're going for this style. You can go for 2-gate, but it usually means you're not so confident in your mid to late game decision making, and you want to try and get a bit of an early defense advantage by being able to overwhelm your opponent with Zealots on the ramp if they do try and outmuscle you. At the highest levels of play, the 2-gate is just so rare. Occasionally you'll see center 9 gates, so the 2-gate will hold that off better, but you can just shield battery the ramp and hold that off with 1 gateway in good control still. So it's usually better off to go for this 1-gate tech play as long as you're confident in your control and decision making ability.
Both these players, highly competent Protosses, and Mini especially going to be feeling confident. Ooh. There's a DT play. All right, Mini. First divergence here. When will that Robo be thrown down on the side of Tyson?
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't go for a fast observer play here, he could just be straight up dead. He also could try and go for like a fast forge and try and cannon his natural expansion. That is another thing you can do in Protoss versus Protoss. It's not always a guarantee safety though, because there are some players that are really sneaky and do delayed Dark Templar drops into the main base if they do know you like to go for this fast expansion play.
There it is. Robo gets started. He went for the range first, but he should still have a observer out in time. We'll see if he's got it in the right position, because sometimes you'll send that first observer across the map, try to get that information as quickly as possible, and the DT can actually slip in. Very important that he keeps this with the army there by the ramp. when that first DT arrives. Second gateway on the way. Manish has his second gateway coming up as well. It's going to finish right in time to start this first DT. Let's see what Mini can do with this. If it gets shut down completely, you're in a pretty bad position. You can start to transition into Templar, but you're just going to be a little bit out-muscled if you lose both those DTs early.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a pretty sharp timing. Obviously, it's not proxy gate, so it's not like a 5-minute 10 timing or something, but it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. About as quick as you can get without it being proxy gateways, so will be a little bit problematic if he doesn't have this first observer in the right position, but I think he will be safe. Like, honestly, like, there's no way Mini should do damage with this. As long as Tyson doesn't make any silly errors, I think he's going to be okay. But Mini will expand behind these DTs and try and get a little bit of an economic edge, regardless of what happens.
We'll probably see cannons be made by Mini. This is a pretty common follow-up. You're not going to have a robo here, and you do need some form of detection in case your opponent is going for DTs themselves. And so he will go into that forge. Oh, he sees the DT. He sees the blade. Yeah. No. Okay, back up to the ramp.
Yeah, he needs to back up and bloody block. There is a observer just on the way here in a few moments. Does get a target. Mini sees the bad news, and he might lose both of these DTs if he's not careful. DTs are slightly faster than observers, so he can get away from that on the good angle. So he will be able to keep this one DT alive for the time being to keep threatening a run by. He's actually going to go for that run by right away while Tyson is trying to push the gas pedal all the way down. We've got some high Templars coming out for Mini. He could morph those into an Archon to stabilize or wait for Storm. It's a pretty aggressive transition to go right into Storm here, anticipating Reavers. Storm is definitely superior, but you need to defend as well. The cannons aren't quite finished. There is a tiny window maybe to punish here for Tyson. There's no Archon on the way either. With good target firing, he can make this work. As long as he kills some probes, it's a pretty good compensation for him. So far, so good. If he can target fire down these cannons, it's going to be fantastic. He's doing a great job of forcing the probes off the line to target those down. Mini's just going to tap out. Yeah, one of the problems of going for a greedy tech play like this. Going for fast Templars is super greedy.
Wow, just like that, Tyson wins map number 1 against Mini. This is crazy, guys. I gotta take it back to the ASL qualifiers. He took out JYJ. Didn't look so hot in the round of 24, but you can see his online performance is something completely different. We're gonna jump into game number 2, guys. Our second PvP of the night. Mini versus Tyson here on Dominator. Let's go. Mini over here at the top left. Tyson center right. Mini may be a little bit shaken by that first game. He's not supposed to lose this. He is an ASL champion.
Right. And
getting knocked out in the round, the first round of this tournament, that is rough.
Yeah, it is. I'll kind of quickly point out while we still got time. We're talking about both players going DTs potentially last game. One of my favorite Pimpus plays is when both players went for DTs and one player had blocked his ramp with his DTs and the other guy had 3 DTs on the ramp with that for 1 DT blocking, and he made a Dark Archon to glitch up his DT into the base despite there being no detection. I was so happy to see plays like that when I was a kid.
There's actually, I believe this is the case, you can make a Dark Archon, but don't let it finish. Like, don't let the 2 connect, and you can get the DT to hop over as well. If you just cancel like right before the DTs touch each other, you can make it hop over as well. But yeah, that is pretty cool.
Bit,
yeah, make them slide forward just that tiny little bit. But yeah, very, very cool play. Some of those PvP situations get really weird, man. I've seen some ladder games where, you know, the game ends up going to like 4 or 5 hours long because both players are completely ridiculous.
Right.
Petty individuals who both went DT and, you know, blocked ramps and weren't able to kill each other, but also weren't able to get the kill.
All kinds of shenanigans. And look at Tyson. He's suspicious of the center 9-9 gate. So he actually checked the middle with this scouting probe. He knows it's possible that Mini pulls out something like that. I like this from Tyson just to make sure he's not going to get caught off guard or blindsided by some shenanigans.
Yeah, as he should. As he should. Mini is gaining a reputation for this. It's something that he pulls out in a lot of pressure situations. Not this game, but he certainly is capable of doing it. Now, will he play a standard straight-up robo play in game number 2, or is he going to go for another shenanigans-based play? Going to go for another crazy tech play and try to pull the wool over Tyson's eyes again? I don't know if I favor that. I think he is a stronger player, so I'd like to see him just play straight up.
Ooh, yeah, doing a good job of body blocking that probe from getting in the main base to get a scout of as well. Got 2 punches on Tyson's probe. Mini inversely got in with his probe and is getting a full scout off into the base of Tyson. So early game information advantage going towards Mini. Oh, and a pylon block.
Well, the pylon block when your opponent has a zealot already is not the best. I'll burn that down pretty quickly.
He'll cancel it at 99 still. It's still worth to glitch out the mining time a little bit and have 1 probe trapped. He will cancel that at 99.
So it is going to be canceled. And can get back to mining here normally. That's the problem with skipping the first zealot, is that you can't deal with that pylon block. The proxy pylon there very efficiently, but...
Back in the day, mana pylon was way more common in this matchup, and players would be good at like positioning their zealots inside their own mineral line to block the pylon even going down in the first place. And you don't really see that kind of mini game as often these days. Doesn't seem like Tyson has much affinity for dealing with that, whereas Mini, he knows every shenanigan in the book and will take full advantage when possible.
Wow, we're going to see a DT play from Tyson now. The shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can make this work where Mini failed.
Mini's going gates. Oh, no.
Oh, God. Triple gateway? With the robo, though. The robo's there.
Right. If he throws down the fast observatory, he can still defend against this. I hope he doesn't cut. I hope he doesn't cut his tech. He needs to make that observatory pretty much as soon as that robo is done, and make sure there's the observatory. Okay, so even though he's going for these fast gates, at least he'll have the prerequisite observer. Probably the safest way you can play this matchup, actually, going for 3-gate range with observer. Not much is safer than that, but it does mean you're a little bit lagging behind in terms of splash damage, but that's not going to matter if your opponent went for fast DTs. Tyson could go for a greedy play, get his Nexus up, and get fast Templar again, but with 3 gateways available for Mini, we could see like a complete reversal of that last game where Mini just bowls over Tyson when he tries to go for that Templar transition.
Very interesting, a 3 gateway coming up here from Tyson as well. I think this is a great map to do 3 gateway play on. Yeah. Because of the high ground natural. If you get control over that, honestly, it's devastating if you get control over that high ground. So I like the idea from Mini, but I also like the idea from Tyson. If 3 gate is really strong, then DT is great. It's a great play to beat the triple gateway, and he's going to rotate around the side with double DT. Heading up towards this main base. Can he slip past this? Mini is actually going to pull the trigger, I think, on an attack up the high ground. I think Tyson might be able to hold that and get in with this DT. Let's see, backing up to his rally point. Going to go all the way down the ramp now, actually running from this. That's a lot of Dragoons. He knows exactly what's coming here. And these DTs do massive damage in the natural. There's the extra observer. But if he just focuses down these Dragoons, he can actually deal a lot of damage. There's 1 Dragoon dying. 1 Dragoon dead already. DT's heading down into this main. Back at home, though, Mini has taken control over that high ground, and he is going to clear this up. No space to slip by into the mineral line there. Mini having that nice Sim City is actually going to save him quite a bit of probe damage. He could have lost, 2-3 probes there for sure. At least had to pull all the probes off the line. This is actually looking quite good for Mini now.
Yeah, I would say so. He definitely got the build order advantage going forward. Now has a full contain on the ramp as well, and a robotic support bay to follow this up. If he gets Reavers over here eventually, that's going to be problematic to say the least. Tyson's going to feel desperate to try and bust up this ramp. He does manage to start to do that. Has he got enough DPS with his army? It does look like the answer is yes. Even with this observer here, there's just too much firepower for Tyson to work with. For the time being, there's a bit of a tempo swing now where Mini has to kind of regroup and pull back and wait for this splash damage to come online. And maybe, just maybe, we can see Tyson start to get enough of an advantage and push back Mini all the way to his own ramp.
Looks like he's going to push up onto this pizza slice here in a moment, leading with the Zealots. Try to soak up some of that damage so the Dragoons can dish it out. The DTs actually go in first. One DT going to try and slide by into the main behind this, and Mini might be a little bit too busy dealing with this play to notice that slipping past. He's actually going to give up his high ground.
He body blocks with the Dragoon, though, denying that Dark Templar getting to the mineral lines. That's pretty good, but as a result, has given up his high ground. Reaver now going to be able to slug it up to that ramp position to maybe break this. And also some Dragoons are going to start elevatoring out of the main base with that shuttle play to kind of set up a flank or a counterattack.
Ooh, this is sneaky by Mini. He's going to take all these Dragoons away and come around the back of this army. There's still a lot of Dragoons here, though. Oh, wait. Counterattack? He's actually going to go across the map? That's crazy. He's left the Reaver there just sitting on the low ground by itself. If Tyson went down that ramp, he might have actually been able to dive on that. Now there's some more Dragoons here. You might be noticing something's awry, though. Where are the rest of the Dragoons at the moment? And that shuttle is nowhere to be seen. Mini going around with that Gambit play, sending these Dragoons into the natural. Now, how much force is back at home? Okay, he might have enough Dragoons to actually hold this.
Well, it's 5-on-6, so there is still a tiny advantage for Mini. With good control, he will get the better end of the stick in this trade. There's one more Dragoon coming to meet this, and now Tyson can start to fight back and target down the weakened Dragoons of Mini, so he will barely hold this and kind of slightly win out on the trade efficiency overall, while still maintaining his contain, I might add. So overall, this is a pretty good position. I think Mini just barely won't be able to do much with this attack, and as a result, now he's contained. He's trying to flank this army from the back with the shuttle and Reavers while the Dragoons push up the ramp. Going to be target firing this Reaver down, though, is Tyson while maintaining the contain on top of that ramp. So really good stuff here. Positional advantage still going Tyson's way in this game.
Ooh, this is a sick game by Tyson. He's really hanging on to this high ground. He's going to dive on the shuttle. Can he get it? Ooh, really close there. Almost getting the hits on that shuttle. The flank with the Reaver really didn't pay off for Mini, losing that without really getting too much. And now, I mean, we've been sitting on 2 bases here as Tyson for a long time. He's got a big probe advantage, and he is mining way more efficiently. More gateways have come up, and so he's got a lot to work with here. He doesn't have any observers, but he knows he doesn't need them because Mini has kind of revealed his hand.
And this
knows
time,
exactly what's going.
And this time Tyson's got some units spotting where this shuttle is coming out, so he's going to try and intercept that with this spotter pylon helping him out. Mini's going to still circumnavigate those forces and see if he can get some damage in the main base. Tyson also has superior tech. Eventually he can get Templars with Storm, which are far more superior to these Reavers, but for the time being, these Reavers are going to reign supreme, try and get some damage done into the main base and clear up some of these Dragoons, and eventually maybe the probe line. There are 5 gateways worth of production here, so maybe there's enough units to clear this up, but so far this is a big amount of damage for Mini, and I don't think Tyson has a good enough response to this. He's shuffling up some Dragoons to try and deal with this, but still the damage is starting to rack up.
The damage is racking up. This Scarab actually can't get through. Okay, does manage to get through. Not getting stuck there forever on that pylon, but it is glitching out quite a bit. Not getting the damage he was looking for. Can he catch this shuttle? The shuttle with speed. Oh, the probe line. My gosh, so close. Does manage to keep that alive for now. Drop it on top of these Zealots. to get rid of them, and the Dragoons are having a really tough time tracking this down. You can see that Tyson didn't send all of his Dragoons back home, instead sending a lot of them over to that top right to try and catch the Reaver shuttle heading out of the base. He has no intention of leaving this base. This is his property now.
Right, I think these Dragoons will catch this shuttle. Or not even just barely not catching that shuttle. Just 1 or 2 more shots would have taken that out. But unfortunately, these Reavers are still reigning supreme in the main base of Tyson. This is probably one of the worst case scenarios for Tyson. He was doing such a fantastic job, and now we got a bit of a tempo swing back to Mini. Even with that expansion, he's still got the same amount of workers and the same amount of supply, so has been able to tie up the affairs a little bit and kind of diminish the economic prowess of Tyson. Now he knows the container's a little bit weak. He's coming back with his shuttle and Reavers as well to easily break up this ramp and either go for a massive counter attack here, but he also could just take his own natural expansion. I think he knows that he's got a pretty good window to do some damage with this splash damage potential. The main base is almost mined out for Mini as well. He will mine out much more quicker than Tyson will, so there is a bit of a clock on Mini to make something happen and finish the job still.
Mini's insane, man. Sending that shuttle back. Oh, I thought the shuttle took more damage from those Dragoons. Looks like it's still pretty high health.
Yeah, I thought it did
Here
too.
into the main base. Dropping triple Reaver here. Taking a pretty big risk in doing this. The DP is going to come out and actually get on top of this as well. Can he actually get some swipes in? Those do deal a lot of DPS and can help out a lot. Not targeting down the shuttles at all. And these Dragoons are still having a hard time catching. Can he actually catch the shuttles now? He will. Catches one of them. Catches the other one. Can he get one more hit? Barely not able to get it. Very, very close though. Mini just now making his Nexus. Can he actually win this game? I don't know if he's done enough damage in the main.
Yeah, I don't know. He's about to be mined out as well. So even when he finally does secure his natural expansion, he'll be back to 1 base worth of economy yet again with how much he's been oversaturated in his main base. So, I mean, this is still a pretty okay game state for Tyson, all things considered. And he has that Templar archive still to eventually get Storm upgrade once he gets the second gas churning away. I mean, overall, this is still a pretty Tyson-favored game state, despite weathering that much damage. He does have the superior tech lined up. He just has to secure it. And with Mini being mined out so much quicker in his main base, it's a slight edge to Tyson still.
Let's see if Mini's able to leverage this splash damage.
He needs to.
Before that can come online. Needs to hit some big clumps of Dragoons or get rid of the Zealots. Will win in the ground army. Pushing forward now. Let's see if Tyson's been hitting his macro behind this. If he's got enough Dragoons and Zealots to actually hold on. Got a very big surround of units here. Mini could still dive into the main, so some forces have to be relegated to that defense.
Right.
So he has to split that army. Yeah, he's going to send some more Dragoons here into the main. You can see how careful Tyson is being right now. He knows that he could get overwhelmed. Oh, DT slipped in. Can he get a Reaver kill? Oh, juggling the Reavers right now.
He was thinking about targeting his own units there for a second to try and clear up that Dark Templar. He doesn't know how many hit points it's got, though. If he knew it was only on 1 HP, he might have been more tempted to shoot his own unit to try and clear that out. But as it stands, he's denying mining in the main base. It does mineral smooth for Mini a little bit, though. Having all the probes in the natural is not necessarily the worst case scenario for him, considering how low the mineral patches are in the main base right now. Tyson now starting to make his way out onto the map to secure some good map control and get some positional advantage on these pizza slices and make it a little bit harder for Mini to come out onto the map. Does mean he could also take a 3rd base behind this, but really he needs his own splash damage. We need to see some Templars finally start to come out for Tyson and get some Sonic Storm so he can start blanketing the Reavers as they pop out of the shuttle and make the micro of Mini almost impossible.
30 supply advantage, Xun. Tyson,
pretty crazy.
He's got Zealot speed now. This is his moment. Before he actually gets Templar out, is he going to try and pull the trigger with this Zealot speed? A lot of that extra supply is in those Zealots, so
yeah,
the Reavers will be critical in the way they connect. There's the first 2 Templar. They've just made their way into the natural. If he gets a shuttle out and brings those to bear, dropping them in range of those Reavers and getting a couple of key storms could be the difference maker in a fight coming up here shortly. Tyson, will he be able to eliminate Mini of all people?
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, who would have thunk that, right? Who would have had their money on Tyson winning against Mini right now? This is absolutely insanity we're seeing, and he's still favorited to win this game by quite a large margin. This is about a 7-3 Tyson favorited game. Mini trying to change that, elevatoring some Reavers into the main base, see if he can get some damage there while distracting on the front. I don't think there's any units in the main to really deal with these Reavers, and with the Sim City of Tyson, it does make it very difficult to come up here with his Dragoons to clean these out. So he's getting some probe damage, but nothing too crazy. Overall, Tyson is still doing pretty good in this game. Now that he has these Templars as well, he's going to start trading more and more efficiently. One thing going for Mini is the mobility of this speed shuttle and 2 Reavers is proving a little bit problematic to deal with. He's waiting for the shuttle to run away, and he wants to catch it on the exit vector with these Dragoons waiting on the periphery to the north.
Yeah, I don't think that this shuttle's getting out, man. It is super low. Got almost no health left on it. He's actually going to go way over to the top center, try to catch that. I don't know if Mini's going to take that path. He might, though. If those 2 Reavers go down in the shuttle, that could be huge. I think he just spotted those forces on the high ground.
He did. He did. He just barely spotted it with the other shuttle. Now he's going back into the main base with some additional forces. He has more units to work with, some additional Zealots to help screen with these Reavers in the main base of Tyson right now. While he's setting up a frontal engagement, there are high Templars here, though. If he does pay attention, has good storms, he will be fine. But if he's not paying attention, could still be a bit of a nightmare trade for him. He has a lot of speed Zealots to push this back, though. As long as he storm dodges and forces the storms to kill the Zealots of Tyson, he can still do pretty good trades here, though. He needs to keep microing back and forcing the Zealots to come to him and baiting the Zealots into his own storms.
Ooh, wow. Looks like that Reaver's still alive. I missed out on that engagement there at the front, but this engagement out here on the map, these storms are coming in super clutch, getting so much damage on these. Oh boy, and the Zealots are going to completely surround and crush everything. Dude, he is running away with this game despite the damage that was done by the Reavers. It seems like he just has too much.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson is all over it right now. I didn't think that Tyson was going to be able to dispatch Mini in quite this fashion. This is insane. I imagine Mini's going to be tilted out of his mind after this game. Still has a Reaver to get some good splash damage on these Zealots, but it's not going to be enough. There's just too much meat to this army that's making its way downtown right now to the natural expansion location. Still has some storm available to him as well. Has to be really careful where he plants these units. He can't just sit still and attack anymore. He'll be absolutely blanketed by that Sonic Storm. Now the trigger's being pulled, and he wants to get all the way into the natural expansion. Tries to preemptive storm on that Reaver placement. Doesn't quite kill the Reaver, but that Reaver's on super low HP. He just needs to trade out efficiently, and he's still in a good position. Third base is mining right now for Tyson. We only have 1 base economy for Mini, so the longer this game goes on, the better and better Tyson's position is, regardless of bleeding some of these units. These Templars, though, will be having to morph into an Archon. They don't have enough energy to storm. Just going to use those as like a bit of an AI pylon of sorts to tank some damage while his Dragoons go to town on these Reavers. Does manage to snipe one of those. Oh, he gets the shuttle as well. Now both Reavers are now down. That's going to be the kill move that triggers the GG out from Mini, and Tyson knocks out the champion ASL player in such a convincing fashion. Really stellar stuff here from Tyson. He's looking pretty good online.
He shut down the Templar at Storm. DT play early from Mini, and then turns around and uses it against him immediately after. Yeah, this is not what I expected, guys. A big upset here today in this final PvP. This match will result in Tyson making it through to the round of 16 in second place. Action gets through in first. Mini eliminated already, guys. Those are not words I expected to say today.
I really didn't think Tyson was going to take out Mini, especially 2-0 like that. That's really insane. Really impressive stuff from Tyson. Just seems like he needs to get his offline nerves under control so he can actually perform better at tournaments, because he's playing like an absolute madman online right now.
He really is. If he can put those pieces together and perform this well on stage, he is going to become an absolute monster. Just needs a little bit more practice in that regard.
Yeah.
And going deep in this tournament is going to give him some much needed experience as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do in the future. What other players can he knock out when he can take down a mini like that?
I mean, he's got a lot of punching power. You have to give it for him. His namesake does seem to be very appropriate at the moment. I wonder how far he's going to go in this SCSL. I can't imagine he's going to go much deeper than the round of 16, but he might surprise us all and break through to that round of 8. It would be kind of insane to see him in the round of 8. I would like to see it.
Yeah, let's see if he can go any deeper. Didn't really make it out of the round of 24 in the ASL. I was actually starting to think about calling him Dyson and to change his name to Dyson because he really sucked in that series. But here he blew us out of the water. He knocked out Mini with that punching power. Guys, thank you so much for watching Group B of the SCSL Season 4.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed this series so far. We've been absolutely blessed with some great games, some great players, and you're in the greatest time of our lives for StarCraft Broodwar. It's awesome to be able to bring you guys these series. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next time for Group C.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, have a great day.